on his own show, with the double blind test. It isn't the contract, the legal requirement every single time we appear on camera, and we are appearing on camera right this second. We've got three amazing gentlemen that you should know if you are in the arm wrestling scene. We'll start with the co-host from the podcast we were doing with Paul Italia before, and it is none other than Israel Chavez. Great to see you back on the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me, brother. I am happy to be here.
Awesome. And we've got the Chocolate Thunder himself, the man who's broadcasting from the depths of hell at the moment, it looks like. It is none other than Jody Williams.
Thank you for having me. It's an early birthday gift. My wife had got me to kind of brighten my, studio for when I do a show. It turns different colors, but I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do red tonight. So we'll do that.
It looks good. I like it. It looks like a smoky effect in the background as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the fourth man on the screen should need no introduction. He's in there on every single podcast around the world to do with arm wrestling. And even on this one, he's also written a comment. Despite, I knew there was two of you, Drew. It is none other than TheDrew24. Welcome to the show. All right, fantastic. It's so good to see you. And this is probably a bit of a surprise, a face reveal for a lot of people that don't know the Drew in person, that haven't seen him before or met you before. Why don't we start with that, Drew? What's your experience been with the arm wrestling community in the years that you've been training?
Yeah, most of my experience is actually just sitting and watching for the most part. Many years I've been watching YouTube, and I had no plans on really being involved in any way, shape, or form. Just watching. I've always liked arm wrestling since I was a kid, like a lot of people, and I was always good at it. And I realized, oh, that's neat. And I thought, and like most people, that it isn't anything that's real. Anything. It's just something that people do, and then YouTube enlightened me to that. For the most part. Let's see. I'm trying to think if it was maybe 8 or 9 years ago now. I mean,
Jeez.
time flies. I mean, 8 or 9 years ago that I've been watching on YouTube, and mostly from Ryan Bone from the start, and that's what really hooked me into. Besides all the other great videos, I remember first seeing a video where Travis had set up a match between a Russian arm wrestler, with Alex Toproll versus a guy who was known around there to never have been pinned, and he's super strong. And it was a bar match, like how Travis sets up sometimes. And so this was like a big little, a little big match, local event, something like that, where I can't find it. And that's like my first match I think I've seen.
Oh.
And where Alex Toproll at the time, he was a lot smaller even then, but he was still very strong, 9 years ago or whatever. And that's what hooked me in as well. And then when I saw, it's real sport beyond that, it wasn't just something in bars and all that. I really got into it. And then the community is what also just drags you in. And and what I always say is arm wrestling community is the best community in the world. It really is. To me, instantly, anybody who's an arm wrestler or an avid arm wrestling fan, which is pretty much an arm wrestler because they will go and arm wrestle whenever they can anyways, then you're just a brother to me. That's just how I see it. You're just part of the family. Kind of like when I was riding motorcycles for like 20 years or something. You have the arm wrestling brotherhood where everyone's like, hey, you're one of us kind of thing. And arm wrestling is even more so because we're not just waving each other as we go by and revving and that's it. So there's a universal thing about it that I really do enjoy. And only just a couple more than a couple years ago, I actually decided to dip my toes in arm wrestling because I didn't think I was ever going to actually get into it. I was like, wait a minute, people are doing this. This is kind of cool. And Benji Mac, is what helped me get into it because I'm not a social media guy, even though I'm on every single channel, I guess, multiple times, everywhere. But like Discord and YouTube is pretty much as far as I go. But I detest social media. It's poisonous and cancerous and feels like high school drama to me. And I hear about it from everyone else saying, "Oh, did you hear what's it on Reddit and all that kind of stuff and blah 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 and Facebook?" And no, and why should I? I don't care. I don't give a rat's rear end about any of that. I just don't. And sometimes I feel like Jody's soapbox,
Hey, there was a lot of soapboxing going today. So
and I've been on stream before. I was on 98.
That's right.
I was on 98 before. I jumped on there briefly because there was like nothing going on. I was like, okay, I'll jump on. Just here I am. Hi.
They had to delete that episode after that.
I think so. It was. I told them to because it was one of the unapproved clones. I did not approve that clone to be on stream.
That's right. It was Drew24.
Yeah, he paid for it, and there is no longer 23 anymore. Yeah,
oh shit! Whoa,
he had to go to Greenland to set up for Trump's arrival.
He started work at the glue factory. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
And Benjimac got me into it. Really, I was watching Benjimac for a while before I decided. Halloween 2.5 years ago, Halloween at Brandon Allen's place, because he's just 7 miles from where I live here, in the Vegas Valley. There's like some cities, there's Henderson. I say Vegas because it's all connected, one big city, and he's just a city, town right over the hill here. And
he's like what, Boulder City? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Boulder City. A lot of people don't know about it, and that's why people just say, "Oh, hey, Carolyn, how you doing?" Carolyn the Great. And Benjimac was somebody who I thought who could introduce me into arm wrestling. And of course, maybe you've seen the video to where my very first day on arm wrestling table, I decided to have a super match.
First day?
Wow.
My first day, yeah.
Very first day.
Yeah, with Benjimac, and he was going to be at the Halloween party, and you can actually see it on Benjimac's
I think
channel.
I've seen it actually. I think I've watched it.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. And I don't think he's gonna try to, he's respectful, good guy, and he's not gonna try to break my arm or anything like that. And I've been watching long enough. I knew what to do and what not to do on the basics, and I thought I had a pretty good grasp, and I did actually. And of course, I was expecting to learn more and expecting to be, mostly weak and not like be able to dominate or something like that. But I was deceptively strong. People were telling me, and I'm like, okay, so maybe I have something. And we had a super match, and I actually did pretty well. And he wasn't trying to kill me, and it was actually a whole lot of fun. And of course, the addiction was set in. I'm like, all right, this is it. I gotta go play with this more. But I don't have aspirations to be elite, not like Israel or Matt there,
So White Wolf says, am I censoring comments? No, I don't do that. I don't think I even can do that from here. Good to see you though, White Wolf. And we'll quickly say hello to the people that are jumping in the chat here. We've got some of the legends of the arm wrestling scene. We've got Israel Chavez and the Drew. Imagine that. We've got School Lady Boy who says, yo. And I'm hoping he said it like that in his head when he wrote that. Sylvester Stallone is here with some fist hand shaking things. Israel Chavez again. He's just saying hello to everybody. That's his very responsible thing to do while we're chatting away here. Neil's index finger, Brian Parliament from Canada is in. Carolyn Looms says hello. She says, hail friends. And Candy Passmore as well. Paul has a big match coming up. We're very excited to see. And that's Carolyn at the bottom there again. And White Wolf is here as well. Great. All right. So that is the topic of discussion at the moment. It seems to be everything that everyone is talking about. I said this last week, I think, when Ryan Bowen had his weigh-in controversy. I said, well, this is this week's topic. I said, we'll wonder what next week's will be. It seems we've found out what it is. Yeah.
Call it a soapbox. Call it soapbox.
The soapbox is out.
What it is.
So I'm sure most people would have seen that there's been a video put out from Greg Sharp from World Series of Arm Wrestling, detailing some events that took place with another promotion, and he's made a statement that anyone who competes with Arm Gods or with Winter Blast will not be welcome to compete with World Series of Arm Wrestling. Which is Yeah, it's difficult. What's the thoughts on that? Maybe we'll start with Israel, because I know Jody has he's itching. He's got the soapbox ready. We'll get there.
Oh man, listen, I'm gonna let Jody get into the nit and gritty of it, but I will say this: I do think that I mean, we've had Greg on our last show before. We've had some good conversations with Greg. He's a cool guy. I think he has a good vision for the sport, and
There you
he's
go.
had a lot of talent that shows up to his tournaments. I mean, a lot of guys want to come compete for the World Series of Arm Wrestling, and I think that's great. But I mean, things happen, and I think the drama got to him a little bit, and possibly he made a little bit of a rash decision, and it's just not fair that the athletes are going to suffer for it. That's really, what I'm thinking is the worst part about this all.
Yeah, that is the difficult thing, is that it really does harm the athletes. They sort of now have to choose which promotion that they want to compete with. Especially Winter Blast being a huge tournament. You're looking at, well, they had 600 entries, I think, last year. So maybe that 600 people that now have to go, well, do I go or not? Because what if they've already booked tickets, and what if they're already planning and training for it? And then it's like, oh man, now I've got to make a decision. It's because I'd like to compete with both. So it is a difficult thing. Jody, your thoughts?
All right, Israel, Drew, Matt, everybody in the chat, you want me to run with this now?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Shoot,
so
brother.
here we go. Let me start off by saying, my relationship with Greg Sharp kind of came apart, over a disagreement. Okay. In the last couple of years, I've been involved with the World Series of Arm Wrestling, and I'll have you know that, the finals is like, top notch. Like, it's a who's who that came to that tournament, right? As you guys know, I was involved with the house, and that was going to kick off, but just trying to find dates and months when to have that. Now, before I go any further, you guys must realize that I was talking to Ryan Grondin, and he's the guy that heads up the Winter Blast event. And I talked to him in January of last year, before any of this house talk was even a thought. And I said, hey, I can't make it this year, but how about this? I'll try my best to make it in 2025, right? Which is this year. They always have their events in late March. And by the way, the biggest tournament in the United States, just so we're clear, the biggest tournament in the United States. I want everybody I'm going to say it one last time. The biggest tournament in the United States, okay? Entries and all that kind of stuff. So, the date was set, to go do this house. I'm thinking, okay, when the date was finally set, cool. It's not going to interfere with the Winter Blast. I'll go ahead and do my thing, right? Now, here's the bonus part. The bonus was the fact that Arm Guys got a hold of me and said, hey, guess what? We want you to pull in our event. We got you an opponent, which I'll talk about later with James Beach. And they were going to say, hey, we're going to do this. And we talked about over. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was like, yeah, let's roll with it. And I was promoting the flyer, the match, and all that kind of stuff, right? So one thing you got to know about Greg is that he's a very busy guy. He's been doing productions over here, productions over there, and over there. Whereas he might not be in the arm wrestling loop a lot. It's in and out, right? No fault of his own, but that's just how he lives his life, right? He got a lot of projects to do. Now, when it came around, this was 2 weeks ago, by the way, right? It actually was the night before Knuckles Up. And he got a hold of me and says, hey, what's going on with this? You're going to pull it. He didn't want me to compete because he didn't want me to, get hurt. Not a problem. I see where he's coming from, but when I'm talking to Arm Gods and the powers that be over there, they know I've been wanting to go over there for a long time. And here's that platter landed on my lap. So first of all, you guys got to know, everybody in the chat, everybody on this show, about 90% of us in this sport do not have sponsors, right? So it's up to us to build our own brand, which means, hey, I got to, go to a tournament. If I'm able to get some good wins, capture that with my phone, then go ahead and put it on your social media to get the word out there. And somebody, some way, somehow will catch that. Oh, that was a good match. Maybe we should have him at our event. That's how it works. Israel, you know that. The Jew, you know that. Matt, you guys know that. We have to build our own brand ourselves because we don't have the sponsorship. So that's what I was doing, right? And Greg and I went back and forth. He wanted to know, hey, well, I just don't want you to get hurt. I was like, I got you. And I even wanted to go a step further and go, I'll meet you halfway and I'll pull the super match. I won't pull the tournament, right? Even that wasn't, good enough. And then he came at me with a situation where it's like, okay, you got to choose, basically. And I'm like going, wow. And I felt kind of slighted, I thought that I would never have that kind of conversation with him, right? So, I said, you know what, let's talk about the next morning. Let me sleep on it. The next morning happened to be Knuckles Up, right? So I sat there, so I gave him a call and go, here's my situation. After weighing the pluses and minuses, right? I don't feel that it's in my best interest to continue with the house, because again, I want to be able to compete where I want, and there's no contract involved, and I don't see myself doing that. And I don't think it was fair that he wanted me to sit out half the year, meaning that he didn't want me to compete with anybody else until after June 28th, which would be the first qualifier for season 4 of the World Series of Arm Wrestling. And as an athlete, we compete. That's all we like to do, compete. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to let opportunity come and go, come and go, come and go. And there is no promises. Who's to say that opportunity might come back again? You got to take them as you get them, and, you got to show up and show out. That's going to be my motto for 2025. Show up and show out. So I want to show, Arm Gods that, hey, I'm glad you picked me. I'm going to show you why it was a good decision for you to pick me, Again, we just kind of had differences of opinions, and I went my way. He went his way. At that point, we were like, hey, it was a business decision. No hard feelings. We'll still be friends. Everything's good. That was 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, the last couple of days, everything just kind of spread like wildfire. And, my opinion with the banning, I'll say this. What you got to understand is that I don't think it's fair for athletes to be put in a situation where you hold their feet to the fire and they got to make a choice. I don't think that's fair, especially when there's no contract involved. And, it's just like when you have an individual who at one point on a previous podcast, I don't know which one it was, but he was not okay with athletes being banned, whatever East vs. West was doing or whatever the hell, he wasn't okay with that. But look where we're at right now, So it went from, if you compete at Arm Gods, you're banned for life. Not suspended, but banned. Suspended is temporary. Banned is like to the very end, right? Then it became, well, now the word on the street was if you compete at the tournament Winter Blast, you're banned. I'm like going, I don't get that, because again, whatever you got going on, there was a video that came out. I'm not going to talk about the video. I will say this though, he was involved in the video. I was involved in the video, and I didn't share it. It got shared. His name got tagged, and the problem I got was that I felt like I was attacked because he felt like I had something to do with that, which I did not. But that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, I probably talked to about 15 to 20 people throughout the whole day, and I told them, hey, don't let my decisions affect your decisions, where you want to go with this, right? If you want to go at World Series Arm Wrestling, have fun with that. I hope everything works out for you. I will say on the show right now, I hope the World Series of Arm Wrestling does good things, and I hope whoever competes there, hey, I hope everything works out for you guys, But my decision was my decision, and I don't want nobody, base their decision based off what I feel, because I think, Greg kind of used his emotions to trigger his decision, which I don't think it was smart. I thought he would have had a good night's sleep and thought it over, but I guess he still feels the same way. And you know what? It's unfortunate, but life goes on, I will say this, though. If, for an example, let's just say, and we'll use Knuckles Up, for example. If Knuckles Up came to me and said, Jody, guess what? We have a offer for you, and it's for 1 year, and we will guarantee you 3 matches. and then the logistics are A, B, C, and D. I would actually look at that. I said, okay, if you can promise me 3 matches, I'll roll with it, because then I can focus on nothing but training and getting ready for that match. But I don't want to be like, I have friends who signed contracts with the UAL or Robert Drink. They got promised the world and they got nothing out of it, but they're stuck in that contract. I have people who were locked in with WAL and were promised the world and never got anything out of that, what they were told. So, it baffles me when, athletes like all of us out there who want to compete because we love competing against one another. And when it's all said and done, let's go have a beer, chit chat. Hey, how's work? How's family? That's what it's all about to me. It's always been about like that. It's all about making friendships. I consider this thing a brotherhood, a sorority, sisterhood, call it what you want. But when you get to a point where you got to choose sides, I'm like, come on, man. This is not a political thing where are you Republican or Democrat? That's what it fucking sounds like. And I think it's the dumbest thing on earth. And I wish, this situation was handled differently. But hey, it's out there now, so there ain't no going back. But a lot of people, I got a lot to say about it. So.
Yeah, well, I've got the video here from Greg. Let me just share that up there. Just the critical part, which is important. All right.
If you participate in the Arm Gods or Winter Blast event here in March, you will no longer be able to participate on any level with the World Series of Arm Wrestling indefinitely. That ban will resonate not just for this year, but for all years. If you are a regional, if you are a previous final weight class winner, it will not matter to us. We have to put a line in the sand that provides this sport the integrity and value that will help us maintain what we need in order to become a mainstream entity in today's entertainment and sports industry.
So, Drew, you weren't aware of this at all until right now.
Yeah. I don't really know her too much about Greg Sharp. Just a little bit here and there when he comes on shows. I know he's really busy and he seems to be really good about a lot of things. The motivation of that, I don't know how that helps arm wrestling, because that's my number one thing. Does it help arm wrestling? And everything else is secondary. And it does sadden me when there's drama and division. I don't like that. And Jody, I like the whole thing. Are you Democrat, Republican? No. Are you an American? Are you for America? Are you for arm wrestling? This like the WAF and IFA thing, Republican, Democrat. It's kind of like that in a way. Right. I don't care. Is it good for America? Is it good for arm wrestling? This is what there's little differences, of course. I don't like the starts of WAF, or I don't like the refs of IFA. So can you work together? Can you do things? So sometimes I'm caught in the middle where some of the drama spills on me because I'm on different channels, that they don't like or approve. Well, I don't like them, so you shouldn't be with them. So you know what? I'm going to maybe ban you from my channel, or I'm not going to watch them, or this or that or something. Why? I'm not telling anybody they can or cannot do anything. I'm just there to support arm wrestling, and I want to help each one, even if I don't agree. And I will tell them I don't like that. I don't like that, but I'm still here for you. That's how I am. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's kind of the way I am. Everyone has done something wrong, and of course, some people have been more publicized than others with certain weight cuts at too early, or dramas in the past or something like that. But I am a fanboy of just about everybody and everything in any way, shape, or form. Someone tells me that I have to choose, and for Jody, that would be kind of like the line in the sand to me, to say, hey, if you go and do something with them, even if you're not contracted or whatever, but if you do anything with them, I don't want you to be with with that person over there, because I hate that person. So if you associate with him, if you're friends with him, well, I can't be friends with you. Like, why? Just, we won't talk about that person when I'm around you. Why is that a problem? If we can have friends with other friends, and just like, okay, well, he's a POS. I don't know. And Greg saying that, that's his decision, and he puts that forward. That's his action. That's not, hey, could you work with me better? How does it help arm wrestling? Why doesn't he have that mindset in the first place? So he said that you cannot pull with them. I can understand he's not going to honor any wins or ranks or whatever other classes. Who asked that? Nobody did. You can be champion in another organization. You don't have to recognize it or the belt or anything. I heard him say that, but what does it have to do with, if you pull with them, you're banned kind of thing? I don't know. I mean, what else can I say about that? That was disheartening. I didn't know he said that in the Raw.
It was crazy because, like I said, I talked to about 20 people, whether it be on the phone, text message, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, whatever the case may be. And when I really think about it, at the end of the day, we all ask this question: how come our sport can't be up there? Because we got too many people doing dumb shit. And I'm not going to pick on your countrymen, Matt, but when you got guys botching weigh-ins, you got promoters cheating athletes out of their money, you got people trying to ban people. I'm like going, this is why our sport cannot get off the fucking ground, because it's shit like this. I guarantee you they don't do that bullshit in Canada. I guarantee you fucking the Georgians ain't dealing with that kind of shit. Only America, the best country in the world. Sorry, Matt, no offense, but what the fuck are we doing? Like, seriously, I guarantee you, if I can ask Matt Connelly, I bet y'all don't deal with that kind of bullshit in Australia. And it's like going, the minute someone has power, they want to take over and try to run everything. You don't. You do not do that. That's no. And then I've seen people walk away from the sport because of this nonsense right here. And it saddens me. And then we got a new wave of people who want to come into the sport, and then they find out what is all this about? It's because somebody, either a promoter tries to make money at this sport as their monthly income. That's fucked up. No, we're trying to get rid of the bar room, so to speak, mystique of our sport, and yet we're making strides. But every time we go 2 steps forward, we get knocked 3 steps back. And then we got to kind of do that. And, there's a reason why, slap boxing, the dumbest thing I think personally, it just leapfrogged us in popularity because they are who they are, right? They don't have to deal with all that nonsense. Here we are, we're fighting each other. Like, look, there's enough organizations. I mean, I want everybody's opinion about this, the chat, you three. There's so many organizations now post-pandemic that it's not just about the elite people. We know the elite level people. We're talking KOTT, King of Table. We're talking East versus West. We know that's the elite of the elite. But with all the other organizations going around, I don't care if it's Montana Armbender, Armed Gods, Armed Wars, AWE, AWC, Global Elite, MAC, whatever, Flashpin Productions, call it what you want. There are so many organizations now because there's a lot more arm wrestlers that are coming through the pipeline where, you know what? There's opportunities everywhere. And the fact that these athletes are getting opportunities somewhere else, they're going to sit there and be jealous or be upset about that. I don't agree with that. That bothers me. And I know I speak my mind a lot. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I don't give a fuck because this is bullshit. I'm sorry. I said it. This is bullshit. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying how I feel. I think the athletes got fucked in this one because, it's tearing us apart. We're not doing that. We need to come together. Doesn't matter what organization, come together. Don't rip us apart. And one person decided to use their emotions and make a decision and then put it out there. I hope Greg the best. I really do. I hope his show when they film, I hope that works out. I really do. But it doesn't change the fact that I think he made a big mistake when he said what he said, because guess what? You can't unsee it and you can't unhear it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good points that you make there. And I think both combination of what you said and Drew, what you said about does this help arm wrestling? And it really does the opposite, doesn't it? I mean, all I'm thinking is how big Winter Blast is going to be, the amount of people that are going to be there, hundreds and hundreds of people that are excited, that are keen, that are into arm wrestling. And now they're sort of put in a position where it's like, oh, wait, if I go there, then I can't go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling events for the rest, well, forever. So it's a really tricky situation. And plus, what about the people that don't know that that's a thing. Like if they're not following this, they train and they've got that Winter Blast on their calendar, and they're like, yep, that's what I'm doing, and they turn up, and they don't realize that now they've just banned themselves for life from World Series of Arm Wrestling, and they're like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, it's difficult.
Israel, what you got to say about this, man? I mean, I know you're probably hearing this for the first time, but I know you got an opinion. Everybody else is speaking in the chat; they got their opinions.
Yeah, I've looked into it a little bit before hopping on here, and I tried to gather as much info as I could. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, man. We've got a lot of like promotions on the rise right now that, yeah, they may not be at that level of, like you said, East versus West and KOTT, but they're climbing. I mean, they're getting notoriety here in the U.S. and like they're selling pay-per-views. They're growing, and for Greg to just kind of throw them under the bus and just say, for even the champions, for even the people who have won the weight classes to just be so ready to strip them of their championship and say that it doesn't matter. I mean, over something that, like you said, really could have been slept on and talked about later with, some of the 98 guys and probably been squashed that same day. I mean, why, take it so far as to involve every single athlete in your promotion, then now, like you said, have them have to choose sides. I mean, it's already hard enough when you get to the top having to deal with the contracts and all, the politics of it. I mean, why bring it to the guys that are starting to like come up and have to make them choose and just lower their exposure,
Yeah.
And that's the thing, if you're doing really well and you are pushing towards those elite levels, and it's like, okay, great, well, I've planned out, okay, I'm going to hit Winter Blast, maybe you're on the Arm Gods card like Jody is, and then it's like, well, now if I compete there, I'm legitimately banning myself from World Series of Arm Wrestling forever and any opportunities that come up with that.
Yeah, man, and it's tough because if you're the type of guy that like, I mean, it takes a lot to be at the top. It takes a lot to go to these tournaments and consistently win. Like, all of us as athletes, we sacrifice, we spend time away from our family and everything, and to try to get better and better ourselves, and then to try to just, I mean, to put a block on us when we're just trying to like get out there, especially as a promotion who claimed to be for the athletes and not that way,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but if it all sticks like this is a big deal. This is a big problem, because you are going to have division. You are going to literally have people that can compete with World Series of Arm Wrestling and people that can't.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so,
no, it's okay. I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people, like Jody was saying, they have to plan for these events. Like I know that a lot of the like guys that are competing in the finals for the World Series, they have to travel, and I mean, Winter Blast, Arm Gods. I mean, why just, I don't know. I don't think it was very smart of him to do that, and I think he should, I don't know, do something and talk to the guys at 98, talk to the guys from Arm Gods, and just like squash it.
Yeah, I mean that would be best for the sport overall. I think what you said, Drew, earlier really resonated. Does this help the sport of arm wrestling? And every step, every move that a promotion should make should be in that
Number one.
regard. It's like, let's put on an event. Okay, well, how does this help arm wrestling? I like that. I think I'm going to incorporate that.
Yes, I mean, and I'll go a step further. Like, I'm so excited to go to East Coast. Never been to the East Coast before, so for me to get a taste of what the competition's out there in the Northeast, I'm ecstatic because Israel and I, Drew, we all live out west. So when we go to the South or the Midwest or the Northeast or even the central part, I get giddy because I don't know them, but they don't know me either. So now does my matchup, does my training, does my style, how does it do against somebody from across the country? That's the excitement to me. I've seen, and truth be told, with Ryan Grondin and myself, we've been talking about me coming out there for the last 3 years. And each year, their entries is going up and up and up. I'm thinking, all right, that means y'all got some hell of a classes out there. I want to taste of that. I want to experience that. I shouldn't have to go there with this cloud over my head, this guilt, like, okay, this is real. I'm going to get banned. At this point, fuck it. It don't matter now, It's just like I have a chance, and I know we're going to segue into the real topic of why I'm on this show. But I have an opportunity. And again, it's all about opportunities for you guys. You know, take them while you can, because you don't know if they're coming back around unless you sign a contract, which I did not. Now, opportunity, right? I got opportunity to compete for a championship belt, right? A championship. It's called, and you know, Marcus Thompson's in the chat. He's the Vince McMahon of this whole thing. So I have a chance to compete for the 105 kg independence title, left arm against James Beach. Awesome guy. I've been doing my homework. I'd be lying if I said, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna walk through this guy." I'm not going to say that, but I'm not going to say I ain't scared though either. But I'm gonna really take this seriously because they're giving me an opportunity. You know, I just got to make sure I don't shit the bed. But I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna give them everything I got and then some. I'm leaving everything on that table for that night. Then I'm gonna wake up the next day. Then it's Winter Blaster tournament. Then let's do it all over again. But again, you know, it's about opportunities. And you know what? If I get to sit there and make a name for myself, then so be it, you know? Oh, I love that. See, I love that. Yeah, there's my opponent right there. You know what I mean? So again, when those came out, I mean, my word, Team USA is looking awesome. Team UK is looking awesome. You know, I'm excited. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I'll just bring up a couple of the super chats. So some fantastic members have jumped on here. White Wolf says, put in $20 US. Oh, says White Wolf. Heck, man, I already thought I was a member. If you guys aren't members, you're freaking crazy. Man has an amazing channel going on, and he actually lived in Kazakhstan for a few years. You better get your ass to Arm Gods. Thank you, White Wolf. I didn't even know I had membership as an option. It's funny.
No, hey man, I wanted to ask you really quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to maybe better understand. So there was a podcast where some things were said before I'm hearing or I'm reading in the chat that might have like pissed Greg off. I know about the whole AI generated video, but what about the podcast may have pissed him off? Do you guys know about that at all?
No, I think what they're referencing is that he has been on podcasts before, and he had stated that he wasn't a fan of promotions banning athletes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I think they were pointing out there was a hypocrisy in what he was saying. Yeah, but let me just jump back on the super chats for a second. We've got Carolyn Looms is throwing in $2 US. She says woke at its finest. Yes, it sort of relates to that topic quite nicely, actually. Where is there? Was another one there. I've got thankfully a lot of comments coming through. Lots of people very excited and interested about this topic, and we've got the perfect guy to talk about it when Jody Williams is being affected by the Drew. The Drew became a Hollywooder. There you go.
It's only $1 now. Now, when you're a membership, you can actually add in exclusive membership channel icons on there, which you don't have yet because you didn't even know about it. So yeah, you look into it on YouTube. I think Studio, you probably have to go in there later on, obviously, and you can add in whatever you want. I'm sure you could find something.
Fantastic. Yeah, the Drew jumping on. Carolyn Looms has just done it as well, and White Wolf, I think. Oh, there we go. Carolyn there, and I know White Wolf did it earlier as well, so fantastic. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but that's really cool. Oh, it's great. Jody, let's talk about your match that's coming up.
Yes. James Beach. I've seen some video on James, and I got this feeling that guy just doesn't get pinned. His last match he had was last month, and he pulled a Canadian BLM. And James 140, like, you know, in the Arm Gods, underneath the Arm Gods umbrella, any championship match is best of 7 or, you know, first of 4, what have you. Wow. And I saw James and I was like, man, very impressive, you know. I got my hands full, I'll say that. But at the same time, I want him to also know he has his hands full too. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, you know. So it's going to be awesome. We're going to be rocking everything. So,
wow.
I'm excited. You got a whole bunch of people getting memberships now.
Yeah,
check it out.
How was that? Who did that? Somebody's done something.
Carolyn the Great.
Wow. She's She's gifted 10 memberships. That's incredible. Again, I didn't know this was a thing. So this is more of a surprise.
And by the way, Carolyn's all about the, she lives in that 90% region. So this is what they do. They're all about the arm wrestling. So
wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much. Wow. I don't know what to say. It's really cool. Oh man.
I guess we're all Hollywooders now.
Yeah. That's really cool. Oh, I was going to bring up some footage of James arm wrestling here for the opponent that you'll be going up against.
Yeah, I'd love to see a little bit of footage of James Beach. Get a little bit of an idea what the guy brings to the table for Jody.
Yeah, he's a very experienced competitor over in the UK and very strong as well. Let me bring up his match here. I think this was the Valhalla. I know this is the Wales card that they had. He was up against Josh Davies, who is Davis. They mix this around. Marcus does this deliberately, or Paul does this deliberately to mess with Josh. They keep changing his bloody surname, and I get tricked by it. So I don't know if it's Davis or Davies because it's different in everybody video. They do it to annoy him, but anyway. So
Paul Davies, the guy on the left, he's pretty strong. He's surprisingly strong, but this other guy, man, he's built pretty crazy. He's got some crazy forearms on him.
Yeah, he does. Very, very smart tactical puller. If you notice, though, he likes to pull. He likes to hit for position. I noticed that.
Yes.
He likes to do that.
That's going to be hard against you, Jody.
Yeah.
That is going to be hard against you because you're a speed guy, man. You crush it right from the go.
I'm a speed guy, but I got some tricks up my sleeve though. So.
Oh yeah.
Let me read out this ridiculous.
Before you get banned.
I better do it then. Super chat from Marcus Thompson, 100 euros. Read this out, Matt, or I will ban you from Arm Gods. If you didn't know, Marcus has an Australian accent. But he says, overall, you've got to love the USA. Housewives drama. Here we are all real men in Ireland. Arm Gods together or alone, we don't care. We are here to help all pullers at every level. And Lev has jumped in on it as well. Jody, James gonna smash ya. I might be biased because he's my mate, but you will get better as a result. Either way, we will hang out and I'm buying.
I like that. Hey, keep that same energy.
Yeah, man, Jody, I will tell you, man, you have a really, really nice way of just surprising me, man. You just always are just on the rise.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because I look at it like this. A lot of people are saying, Jody, watch out for this, watch out for that. How come he can't watch out for me? I mean, I'm always looking at that, always, looking at the glass half full,
Yeah, that's because they know that you'll be fine and you know what to do. So they just want to tell you it's like maybe you didn't think this little thing, but I don't know. I see what you mean. What do you think that you are the underdog in this match?
The UK guys do. The UK guys think I'm an underdog because that's all I've been hearing. So, and rightfully so. I mean, they're going to root for their guys. I got Team USA behind me, so we're going to be on U.S. soil. So this is the first of its kind. That's why I think this is so special, because we're pulling for the Independence Cup. And what that is, and I told Marcus, if you get a big enough cup, what he should do is half, American flag, half UK flag. And, and the thing is, though, what it could happen, let's just say 2025, whoever wins the team trophy can have that country engraved in the year, and like the Stanley Cup will pass it back and forth or whatever, or the Ryder Cup or whatnot. I think that's kind of cool idea. And I'll be glad that I'm, being a part of this.
Yeah. I just want to bring up the match that you had here. This might change a few opinions. So we have James Wall on the left here.
Yeah, this is something that I wanted to talk about.
Yes, one of the top UK pullers. And who is this guy here he's going against? And maybe the man on screen, Jody Williams. But let's have a look at how this plays out here.
Can you make that bigger?
Let me see if I can zoom in on it.
No, that was truly impressive when I saw that, man. That guy is strong.
Yes, that's James Wall. I'm competing. This was at Washington State Championships in December.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, this guy, I knew that. Okay, if I go inside with this guy, I was going to be in for a long day, and that probably wouldn't last. So my objective, at least with this match against him, was if I can keep his hand flat, at worst case scenario, and try to fold his hand back, I have a shot. I tried to come in for a press a couple of times, and he just had his big ass shoulder and blocked it, and I had to come up, and this is where one of those situations where I had to use every 7x7 inch of the elbow pad.
Yeah, that's so clever right at the end there, where you pushed forwards and got more vertical with your arm to be able to come through and get the pin. So a lot of people keep dragging backwards, but you've identified you needed to push forward to get more vertical height, and you could hit through, and that's exactly what you did. So yeah, you can see you really pulled out all of the technique, knowledge, and everything in that match.
Right.
Jody, how long have you been pulling at this point, brother? Because I'm 10 years in, so I know you're at least getting up there 15 to 20.
15.
15, yeah.
15, yeah. So and I'll be celebrating my 49th birthday tomorrow. So I'm I'm an old guy. So
Hey, happy early birthday, brother. You're just getting into the sweet of the strength, bro.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it seems to be 50 to 60 is like the peak strength area.
Right. And like I said, I mean, when you pull against somebody and like Marcus said, good pin, but James is stronger in his right arm, and which he is, and I'm not saying that my match with James Wall is going to be the exact same against, James Beach. I know I may have to alter some things, and a lot will tell once I grip up with him. Then I'll have a good idea of which route I'm going to go. But I know for a fact I got to have a plan A, plan B, and a plan C. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's one of those fun things about having matches with these sorts of opponents is that, I mean, he probably hasn't been, I'm not sure if he's been to the US before. So there's probably not many people around that have actually pulled him in person. So
Right.
The advice and everything that you're going on, maybe from videos or maybe from, people saying, oh, when I had a match with him, it was like this, but people having firsthand experience, that's what makes this interesting is like you guys are literally from the other side of the world coming together to face each other. Does it make it any different having such an international opponent as opposed to somebody that's more local?
Well, I mean, I went over to England to Arm Wars. I know that's a bad word to say in front of the Arm Gods people, but I went over there and competed against Jason Hill, another UK guy, strong guy and stuff. And we battled, and I ended up losing that 4-2. But it was a battle, and I know how they pull. They're very, very smart, and they're very, very tactical. I mean, they're always strong, but they're very, very smart and tactical. So that's one thing. If I could tell my teammates from Team USA about this thing, don't be overconfident, because sometimes those guys can make you one-dimensional if you're not careful. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, so what does the win from here, if you get the win, where does that springboard you to next?
I don't know, because, well, if I win, that means I win the title, which means at some point I might have to go back over the UK Ireland area and defend that belt. So that'd be my guess. Marcus Thompson, he's in the chat. He can probably answer that more than me. If I were to beat James Beach and win the belt, does that mean I get to go back over there and defend it? And I get to go on, enemy territory, so to speak, where I'm really the super duper underdog. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's right. Well, have you been over to the area of the world before?
I was going to ask.
Who?
You.
Have you been over to UK?
Yeah, I went to Manchester last year for Arm Wars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think you
right.
just said that. You said Arm Wars, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. No.
They give me, they have to give me shit about that, but it's all in good fun. I think. Here's the thing: when I made my comment about the thumbtack match, I got a lot of shit for it. When I mentioned Arm Wars, I get a lot of shit for it. But I'm not sensitive to where it's well, fuck that guy. I'm not talking to you guys no more. I know it's all in good fun. So.
Absolutely. I don't think you can take anything from either Paul Maiden or Marcus seriously. You've got to realize they're joking 99% of the time.
Right.
White Wolf has jumped in with another super chat here. He says, Arm Gods doesn't ban anyone. We welcome everyone. Ho! And then there was another one here from Holly Stewart, the Claymore's wife. She's given 5 great British pounds. And she says, UK guys, bring the heat. Ho! Looking forward to these matches, guys. And happy birthday for tomorrow, Jody.
Thank you very much. And by the way, if you want to see the awesome event, make sure you go ahead and become a member on the armgods.com. It's $4.95 a month.
Yep.
If you want to see the event, you got to be a member. And you can also look at all the past events they have, like Arm Gods Valhalla. They're all on there. So be sure to do that. But so Marcus, again, if I beat James Beach, what does that put me at? Because I'll have the Independence belt on my shoulder. And I would love to have that thing going through the airport security. So where does that leave me if I'm able to pull that off?
And it's 5 British pounds, so about $25 of Aussie.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
oh, there you go.
Just so you know.
It is great. I think it is literally 3 to 1. So
Oh my goodness,
$15 one, which is fantastic.
Jody, before I get past this, your left hand, how much progress do you think you've made in the past 6 months for your left hand?
A lot.
It's noticeable. Like it's a level, at least a level higher now. Like you couldn't have anything for yourself 6 months ago. Like it'd just be no competition version now. 6 months ago.
I think now a lot of it has to do with my setup. You know, I had some flaws I had to kind of iron out, so I'm getting better at that. You know, it was all about speed. But you know, if I run into somebody who can, you know, absorb my hit, and I've already committed, now where do I have to go? Now I'm in a battle. So now, you know, I can still use my speed, but at the same time, it's like I don't have to always go for the flash pin.
No. Sometimes the hit position depends on who you're facing, because some people are ready to do the same thing. The thing that I like is that you're putting your videos up. If no one knows, you know, Jody puts all his information up, and you know, he shows videos of what he's doing and trying out. It's actually pretty good, and he's not an elite puller or anything like that, and he's just showing what a lot of us, you know, most of us, the 98% of us perhaps, you know, do. And how's your endurance going? Like, how do you think, you know, that is going to go on? Because if that match goes long, how's that going to happen?
Well, I was about 242 at the video that Matt just showed. So, you know, being 231, I'll be a lot lighter, which means, you know, my endurance will be a little bit better. I think endurance will play a factor because, again, under the Arm Gods umbrella, any title match is best of 7.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to be on top of my game. So,
hey, at least you're used to those long, you know, arm wars, right?
If you go watch that match with me and the guy for Romania, we're talking 40. Those were 40-second matches, give or take. Now, 40 seconds may not sound a lot, but we all know in arm wrestling, 40 seconds per match, that's pretty long.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So if you go there, you know, and it was at match 3, I believe, you know, Agent Popescu to Romania. Once I got a bite on him, because here's the problem. My goal was to walk in there and top roll that guy, but he had a long lever. He had a low hand top roll. So any kind of top roll I wanted to do, he shut that down. So it took me to match 3 to figure that out. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? If you're going to low hand top roll me, everything up in here is, you know, is being confiscated. There's no attention down here in the wrist. So I just dropped my wrist, dove in there for it. And, you know, I'm thinking, okay, let's see what he got. You know, why not? And I think that match 3, the first ready to go, I elbow foul, but the second one, I planted that bitch and I fucking, you know, absorbed all his hits, and I fucking drove in here. And when I saw that that lane, I went ahead and jumped in there for a press, you know, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm here now. But we're talking, those matches were so long by the time I kind of petered out. But I know from there that I do have the stamina to go if I need to. So that's always good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Jody? I mean, you've got the ability to be so explosive and win matches in half a second. One of the guys here in Australia is very similar to that. He's a presser though. Josh Barker, his name is, and he said something to me which I always, when I find out people are very explosive, I like to ask this question, because he said this comment to me that sometimes he wishes that he was in wars as opposed to just beating somebody really fast, because he wins and then that's it, and that's the thing. And he's like, well, I was up there for half a second and I won, and yay. But when you get that back and forth battle, which like you were just talking about, where it was 40 seconds and you had to find the way through, and it took all these different maneuvers of technique and positioning to be able to get there. Do you prefer that, or does it bother you, like a win is a win, or how do you approach that?
Well, I don't want to say a win's a win, because I can win off elbow fouls, and I don't want to really do that either,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like this. From a tournament aspect, I'd rather just pin everybody off the go, because you never know. If I got 12, 13 guys in my class, then does it do me any good to sit there and start going into grinders match one? No, probably not, But if there's a super match involved, because then that's where the chess game starts, right? Like, hey, I'm absorbing his hits, but guess what? He's also absorbing my hits. So now we got to go, okay, well, I'm going to slide my elbow forward. He's going to go back. I'm going to apply side pressure. He might apply down pressure. And it's just whoever can get to that spot, that lane first, will have that advantage, because if you watch that James Wall match, how many times did I, crack his wrist over, but I couldn't finish? How many times did he try to go hook and I stopped it? So it was kind of like, we're going back and forth. And, honestly, during that match, I didn't hear a goddamn thing. I didn't hear the crowd until after the match was done, because I'm thinking, okay, I got to use every 7x7 inch of that elbow pad. You know what I mean? So, I mean, for me, it's more gratifying to win in a long match, because now I think, for me anyway, you get more respect from your opponent.
Yes.
Because you giving everything you got. He took it. He giving everything he got. I took it. But somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. So I think that was good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is you learn so much more, not only about yourself, but like your opponent's style, especially if it's a super match format. Maybe that was the first round or second round, and it's like, well, I just figured out the way to win, and then you can sort of roll through on those last couple of rounds. But maybe they are now, okay, well, he's found a weakness there, I need to adjust to that. And that's why I really sort of enjoy, like, first to four super matches, because you get those opportunities for the athletes to start countering each other's techniques and finding different methods to victory, as opposed to the one and done in a tournament, where you maybe you just mistimed the start and now it's done, your whole day is out. Like,
right.
So yeah, it can really make a difference. But those tactical battles and the difference in technique and what somebody is trying to implement versus what the other person is trying to do, like that's the fun stuff for me. It's like, oh, he's trying to get even when you're on the table and you're like, oh, he's trying to get a hook position, it's like, no, I got to keep him out of that. So right. Yeah, that's where it really starts getting fun.
And like I said, it was funny because when I watched back that match, then you hear Uncle John going nuts over there, and that's like, then you hear the crowd. But I watched it back, that's what I noticed. That I'm thinking, wow, man, they're like really into that match. And that was a tournament where you had three tables on stage, and everybody was kind of looking to see what was going on, because the crowd was going nuts. But I was so laser focused on the match itself, I didn't notice that. And if you actually watch back that match, there were three different moves I was doing, three different styles. The actual rollover top roll, the press, that didn't work, and then I finally got him with the posting style side pressure hit. So I did like three different styles within that one match, and James, he did the same, he did his hook, and he tried to go for a press, and I came back out. And like I say, it was tit for tat, but, those are the kind of matches I like, So,
yeah, well, it's fun to the audience to watch as well. Let me bring it up again. I've got it here. Let me just share it one more time, because it's always fun to watch it back when somebody's talking about it.
Well, watch how many styles him and I do in this one match. So he's just straight, sweep, I guess you can call that, and I got him out there, but I can't finish because he's applying up pressure as I'm trying to press down, and I can't do that. So at some point, I got to stand back up. I'm not doing that there. I got a little stretched out, but I got a lock right there. So now I got to stand up, what's going to happen? I try to press. He stopped it. Okay, go back to the top row. So now I'm opened up now. So now he tries that, and I get his hand again. So he should have did that, but because I was pronating so hard with the strap that he wasn't able to finish that. See, I tried to press again, didn't work out. Go back to the top row. I couldn't finish. He's shaking his head. No, I'm thinking, okay, well, finish me off then.
Yeah.
You know, he's stopping anything I'm going. He's stopping it. I'm thinking, okay.
A really good thing you did, Jody, there is, you really used your real estate on the pad to kind of reposition constantly as you needed it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a back and forth thing. Like I said, I mean, there was at least 3 times I should have won, and 3 times James should have won. You know, and I was talking with one of my buddies, Corey Miller. He said, you know, awesome win, but you could have won that match a lot quicker than you did. So, and that was the setup. You know, I'm thinking, oh, okay, you know, and we kind of broke things down, and you know, I've been working on that. So we'll hopefully this will play a factor in my match next month.
Yeah. Well, I think it was one of the best matches that I've seen, and I know how good James Wall is. So for you to get the victory in it, and especially in a war like that, where it wasn't like, oh, you know, he just missed the time to start, or there was a bunch of fouls or something. It was like, no, this was an actual war where you both had to really go to war at each other, and you pulled it off. So well done.
Yeah, I got the jump on him. It's just he stopped me at the pin line. Well, crap, you know, and I stopped him at the pin line. So I guess, and I'm not going to sit there and try to pat myself on the back, but just looking at that match, you know, I could sit back and say to myself that, you know what, you know, I can hang with some of those guys. You know, that's what makes me feel good about the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a good match and a fantastic win, and maybe another repeat against another James from the UK coming up in a couple of weeks at Arm Gods versus UK, or what did they call it? UK versus USA, or Independence Cup, or there's a lot of names I'm seeing for this, but you will be
the Independence Cup. Yeah, I'm excited. So,
it's gonna be amazing. That's a whole weekend of fun of activity stuff for arm wrestling that's going to be going on there. So Friday night you've got the Independence Cup with the UK guys taking on the USA. I think there's a whole bunch of amazing matches. Jody is going to be featured on that as well. And then the next day they've got Ryan Grondin with the 98% crew are running the Winter Blast tournament.
Yes.
One of the biggest tournaments that ran through the USA last year, with I think they had 595 entrants. It depends which day. Depends which day you ask Ryan, because he changes it from 595 to 593 every now and then. But that's going to be a big tournament. It might be the biggest tournament in North America for this year. And so if you're interested in arm wrestling, that is one of the ones you want to be checking out for sure. So we're not only seeing the tournament taking place on the Saturday, but the Friday night, you've got to go check out the Friday night as well, and it's going to be at the Valley Forge Casino in Philadelphia.
I believe we have a press conference and all that kind of stuff too. So,
oh, fantastic! And Marcus has just said the Independence Cup annually, it will move to July next year.
Ooh,
you may be defending a belt.
You know, I might have to defend that thing, you know, before that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and Marcus and I will probably talk over logistics. So we'll go from there. But first things first, I got to beat James first. So then we'll go from there. He
is a very good arm wrestler. So are you. This is like, when to say, oh, who do you think is going to win? I said, why do I have to pick a winner? I don't know. It's like a 50-50 match for me. I think both of you guys have the ability to win.
Mm-hmm. We got a strong USA team. I mean, we got Paul Passmore, Paul Cruz, Jason Merlot, Bob Brown, Corey Miller, you know, Kevin Palco. List goes on and on. So we got some studs. Nathan McCallum. So, hey, what can I say? You know, we got a good, solid team, and I'm thinking, okay, it ain't gonna be no walk in the park. I tell you that.
Absolutely, yeah. And then coming over from the UK, I mean, you've got some amazing. They're bringing over some of their best guys, so this is going to be a big event. Mindaka's Dorcas is going to be along. We've got Connor Sale, we've got James Wall, James Beach, who's there? Craig Sanders. We've got Josh Davis.
They got David Bradford.
Who's Mindaka's going against?
What's that?
Mindaka's Dolskis.
Corey West.
Yeah. Let's
Really?
Right or left?
Let's
I don't think it matters.
Let's hold the phone on that.
I don't think it does either. But
No, it won't matter.
I mean, like, listen, Mendogas is he's a strong mother effer. I mean, he's strong, but Corey's a big task. I mean, it's a big ask for.
I think he might be a level above, though. I really do think that might be
Corey,
a
right?
total mismatch. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Corey's a level above. The one I would like to have seen, a lot of people have mentioned, I'm sure, and you've heard that there was interest. Dolskis has actually showed interest when I talked to him in chat one time, saying, "What about a certain King of California person?"
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he's Derek's been getting a little bit of
Mhm.
heat about pulling lately.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek would like to pull him. He has expressed he would like to do as well. But of course, the biggest problem I think is on Derek's side because of the fact of life, having to make money. As you know, arm wrestlers, we're the richest people in the world, right? You know, and we all make money in every tournament, everywhere we go, right? That's how it is. That's what everyone. Yeah.
everybody wins.
Yeah. It'd be nice if that is someday, a thing to where that's more commonplace that we can actually come ahead and things. But that just shows the passion. We do it not because we're trying to make money or anything. Some people might want to get into it and they might want to have promotions and then act all weird. We know about some of those people, but
You don't have to stab me in the back of
Here,
my
I give you guys. We got 11 matches on the card, and 6 of them are championship matches. So I'll just go ahead and read you Connor Sale, Kevin Palco, Independence Belt, right? You got obviously
really
me and
good.
James Beach, Independence Belt, left arm. You got Craig Sanders, Corey Miller, World Title Championship match. You got Bogdan Stoica, Paul Cruz, World Title match, and then of course you got the other World Title match between Corey West and Mendogas Dolskis. So again, and that's just the title matches. You still got all kind of stuff, like
So many.
There's not one weak link in that entire card.
No, on either side.
Bogdan versus Paul Cruz. Paul Cruz is a little bit bigger guy, no?
I know.
Or maybe not.
Bogdan's really tall, I think.
Oh,
I
Bogdan.
think,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think he wants to go in at 242 because he's going to the Arnold too. The Arnold.
242. Yeah. Okay.
But he needs to come down to 231 by the time Arm Gods rolls around. Also.
Yeah, Bogdan's a little smaller, even though he has a big frame, so he can kind of pull up in ways. Yeah. Cruz is a big, solid dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He really is.
I mean, 242s, that sounds like him, but I didn't think Bogdan was that heavy. I guess he could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just competed on Knuckles Up, didn't he, Bogdan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a good win. Lost the first couple of rounds, but then figured out. I think he stuck with his press the whole time, even though he lost the first 2 rounds with it. But he managed to get through with it for the next 3.
So Matt, I'm gonna send you a picture of those title belts. That way you can show everybody what's going on. So the first one is the Independence belt, the next one is the World Title belt. So if you want to share that on the screen, that way you kind of know. I'm telling you that this is pretty cool. I mean, if you can imagine taking on these bad boys to the airport, there's the Independence belt right there.
Oof, that is beautiful.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes, that's the belt I'm pulling for, the left hand 105 kg. And then the other one is the World Title belt.
Let me just bring it up. It is this one here.
That's the World Title belt.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they have a Commonwealth belt, but I believe that stays over there. So.
Oh, okay.
And Marcus, you did that? You did it, Marcus? That's awesome.
Marcus has a hand in those belts because those are awesome, man.
Those belts are made of AI, by the way.
So you see why, opportunity was there. It's like, oh, I got to take that. So I just got to make sure, my weight's on point, make sure I don't weigh now and send Marcus a video and then, where the fuck. But, I want to really, have access to that. If I can win that means at least I did something, just to get a taste of that. So.
Absolutely. I've seen a little bit of talk in the chat about the Mac style events. Mr. Peanut has a good comment here. He says, this is his opinion on the Mac events. Mac event rules. I like efforts and directional Mac is going for. My opinion has always been strict rules help remove human error from equation. Refs should call what they see and not opinions of action.
I agree with that.
What do you think, Israel?
Mac is honestly doing a lot of things well. I gotta give it to Ian Carnegie and the guys. I mean, they started off with like this dream and the new table, and it went through a lot of revisions, and they got a lot of hate. And they pushed and pushed, and I mean, look, I mean, they're doing good, and I really like the direction they're going in. I mean, their events, their matches, I mean, they run smooth. They run the way that I think an audience is really going to want to watch arm wrestling. So I do think they're doing a great thing, and I hope for the best for them. I mean, I can definitely see them as one of the promotions that's going to be at the top sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, I like the approach and the attitude, and his interview explaining his approach and not trying to offend anyone else or anything like that, but showing, hey, this is what I want to try to do. I like that, and that he isn't offended about some constructive criticism. All right, no trolling. That trolling is never helpful. That's just stupid. That just should be all ignored and never entertained. Just the stupid usual. Oh, you should quit what you're doing. It's not like blah blah. Whatever. I mean, if you don't like something, say why. And then you know what? If you did this and that, and he goes, you know what? That's a good idea. And he's taken in. I think he's on his 5th revision of the table.
He's
or
like
something
on
like that.
his 7th or 8th, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the
he's
guy,
up
they're
there.
working
Yeah.
hard. They really are.
Yeah, I think this is one of the early ones here that we're looking at, because I swear it's a bit deeper now, the divot in the table. But you're absolutely correct. I love the fact that they're A, trying something different, and B, that they're listening to the feedback that people are giving, not just the fans but the athletes as well. And I think immediately after their first event, they realized that there was a design flaw with the sides of the walls, that you could sort of lean against them somehow or another.
Use that as to kind of wedge yourself up.
It kind of resembled the old donut pads, kind of in a way. With that, you can kind of brace that elbow there, which will make it difficult to pin somebody if they can do that. So, but that's where you got to go. Okay, well, back in the day they used to have that, so you had to find a way to win. So it'll be all right. But hey, guys, I got to get ready to go. I got to get a bite to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, Israel, it's good to see you again. The Drew, it's also good to see you. Matt, thank you for having me on the show. Everybody in the chat, love you all. See you soon, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
And
Thanks,
Jody,
Matt.
get those collagen peptides. You have them, use them. I'm telling you.
Yes, I need to get that.
Happy
Gotta
birthday,
get
Matt.
that going. All right,
Thank
everybody.
you, Jody. Have a good night, brother.
night.
Take care.
See you, Matt. Awesome. Oh, so we've got a big event happening this weekend with East versus West. So we have a look at some of the matches that are taking place.
Some big matches here at this
Big
event.
matches.
Big
Some of the
matches,
biggest
man.
names in the sport. So we've got a headlining event with Devin Larratt and Gennady Gitvinia. What's my? I'll say my thing at the end. What's your initial thoughts on that one, Israel?
Gennady versus Devin, man. I'm going to tell you something. It is very interesting to see the approach that Devin has taken this time around. I think Devin has gotten smart in a lot of ways that he maybe wasn't before, but hadn't put into practice, maybe because he didn't think it had that much of a impact. And I think he's been talking to some people that have really got his, mind straight, his collaborations with Brian Shaw and just people who know what they're talking about in terms of physicality, body, eating,
Mm-hmm.
He's coming in at 300 pounds. I mean, we've never seen we've seen close, but never over 300. And boy, can you see it. I mean, the guy looks big.
Yes.
Gennady, on the other hand, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gennady's Gennady. He's strong. He's always going to be strong, but is he in his best shape? And that's very important because we might be looking at Devin in his best shape ever.
Yes. He is looking absolutely enormous at the moment, 300 pounds, especially coming because he was up big for the Levan rematch, and then he's dropped down significantly, taking out a couple of the lighter weights, and now he's like, I'm going to go back up again. And not only up, but higher than what he was before.
He's addicted to it. I mean, he, like he says, he just can't let go of that like super heavyweight itch,
Yeah, well, that's one of those things is like when you've gone against the number one in the world and been 6-0 twice, it's sort of like, ugh. But there are a lot of good matches out there, and any time that Devon's on the table, everyone's going to be watching, regardless as to who the opponent is. I mean, when it was like him versus Chance Shaw, I'm like, I'll watch it.
I mean,
don't care.
that was hype. Devin was weighing in in the high 220s, low 230s for that match, and I remember seeing the practice video that came out that hyped that match that made it seem like Chance had a legitimate shot.
Yeah. Well, he won a round.
Yeah, well, he did win a round. He did win a round. You got to give it to him.
That was his full deflate mode. He explained it as well too, where he completely shut off everything, went on the fast, completely drained himself to the max, and Chance, to be fair, of course, was even coming off the couch, so that was also impressive as well. That couch was, that Chance wasn't even training, and he got up there and he said it was the most fun match he's ever had. This I think will be a bit lopsided, really. Because Devin he was super close. It could have gone either way in the first match.
Yeah.
Now I don't see Gennady even being better than when he was that time. I don't see it at all. And how is Devin not better? Not better, because it seemed like he basically overtrained in a lot of ways for Levon, and that's why he had problems actually gaining weight too. He wanted to get 300 pounds on all that, for the rematch for Levon, and he couldn't do that. I think maybe he was overtraining, and that was actually turned into a kind of a cardio thing in a lot of ways. And of course, we know cardio isn't exactly what you need versus the strongest arm wrestler in the world.
What did you think when he got that stomp on Levon in that first round?
It was all positioning. It was all positioning with the hand. He didn't want to lose his hand and go forward. That's all it was, because we saw that in the way he positioned. He didn't want to go forward on that, and he realized, okay, well, I guess I got to go. And he wasn't expecting him to do that. No one was expecting him to do that kind of like a dirty flop that he did, and he can only go back this far because that's actually how my wrist is. I'm not very flexible on my wrists. I don't have much flexibility, and of course, Levon's even worse. He cannot really flop. I mean, because I can't do a push up with my hands because I can't go all the way, and I imagine he can't do a push up either because his hands don't go back either. You have to do it with the fists and everything. He just went forward, and then the second round, you saw he got the better position, and just that was it. And the only reason why it stopped because he didn't want to lose his hand. He was not in a good position. He had the buckle. Everything's going against him. And Devin, of course, is like Travis in that getting that set up with the buckle master and all that.
Yeah, I remember looking at the first match between the two of them here. We've been talking the whole time, and they haven't pulled yet.
Yeah, I know.
I've been trying to skip through to find where the actual match starts. But I think this is Devin's thing, isn't it? He just a master of the setup, and just he won't start it until he's got absolutely every single advantage he could possibly get.
Level 10 tricky bastard.
No, really. I mean, Devin, apart from being really strong, he is a tricky bastard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Have you ever had the chance to pull Devin, Matt?
Yeah, it was the very first person I ever pulled.
Wow, that is awesome. Okay,
that's what I'd start at the top.
Yeah,
it went really well.
You beat him easily, and he's like, "Wow, I'm impressed. You will be the best in the world."
Like, you are now the best in the world. And I said, Devin, who? No, he was.
Now you're gonna know who I'm talking about, Matt. There used to be a guy that was renowned in Australia named Danny something, and I'm forgetting his name.
Tesh.
Danny Tesh. That was his name.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him pull Devin, and Devin being very impressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he got the pin on Devin.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that Danny Tesh was. I mean, he was one of those guys that when you think of like endurance, there's few guys that had that much.
Oh, you're absolutely 100% correct here. Let me bring up the match because I've got it right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got Mario Tambarkas in the background there. This was, I think, it was at the Arnold event in Melbourne 5 years ago. So what was that? 2020. Well, it must have just been before that because of COVID. So maybe 2019. But
he's like the quiet killer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Danny Tesh is.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk. Hoping that he would get back into the sport, but from every time that I've heard that somebody has spoken to him, he is not interested at all.
He'd rather surf.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. He's into other stuff. I see.
But you
Just
see Devin
chilling.
working really hard here to hold that. This match
Yeah, when he
does go
starts,
for a while.
when Devin does the head like this, that he's getting kind of okay. You see that when his head starts shaking, and the veins popping out. He's like, all right, he has to work.
She
And
was
he has that
truly
lock.
impressed right here. I mean, this guy is iron.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of comments in the YouTube video of this saying, oh, yeah, but Devin had been there for 3 weeks pulling people nonstop 24/7.
He did not.
No, so,
Like,
regardless as to that, I mean, when you, I think at that point, Devin may have been top 3 in the world, if not the number 1.
yeah, he was close. He was up there at that point. Yeah.
I think it was between him
He
and
got
Michael Todd.
Oh man, look at
So
that.
you think, oh, they might be over here, but Danny keeps in there.
I've pulled people. It's that constant pressure he can provide. It's ridiculous.
That lock in that he has.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can see, and there's a good comment here from Home Gym Physique. It says that match was only 5 years ago. Devin has aged in only 5 years, so his physique is completely different.
Yeah.
You can see there he does retain that special forces kind of look, very that lean, wiry kind of muscular but not overly bulky kind of style, as opposed to these days where it's almost double the size.
Oh yeah, I mean that was more like a 225, 235 pound Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he is substantially bigger now for sure.
So what are we thinking for the Gennady match?
Oh, I mean, I'm honestly thinking Devin 3. What is it? A best of 6?
It's always different with let me find out for East versus West. What is it?
It's either best of 6 or best of 7, but I'm gonna say
or best of 5.
Or best of 5, yeah. I'm gonna say if it's best of 5, 3-0 or 3-1. I mean, regardless of the score, I think Gennady will at best get 1, maybe.
I figure it to be a blowout. That's how I see it. I'll be surprised if Gennady really has a whole lot. And if something happens, it's because it's a sneaky pin or Devin fouls out because he's just messing with him because he realized he can. That's how I see it. I just don't see how he's not going to be a level. Everyone's saying that Devin's a higher level than before.
Yeah, it does seem to be as well that Gennady, from the matches that I've seen him, it looks like he takes a couple of rounds to really fire up. Yeah, and it's like he always seems to lose the first 2 rounds, and then a light bulb goes off, and he starts going open now, and then he's fired up, and he comes out of the corner like a new man, and then he wins the match. And it's like, why didn't you do that from the start?
Yeah.
Like strange. Maybe
I noticed that about him. He really is. He ramps up as the match goes on.
I do kind of hope that he does get 1 pin just so I can see the Super Saiyan Opana. I really do, because he's there and he has the whole audience, and he might just fall down and have to be revived because it might be too much for him. The power. He's going to be over 9,000 at that point.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that like this match is really big for more reasons than just their arm wrestling like history. They are both guys that have been pretty heavily involved with the military basically their whole lives.
Warriors,
so
true warriors.
Yes, both of them. I know Devin was Special Forces, and I know Gennady is like something equivalent to what that would be over in Georgia. So it's really cool. I mean, these guys are like in a double battle in a way that very few athletes in the arm wrestling world can share.
Yeah. I'm just glad that the battlefield is an arm wrestling table and not a war zone.
Absolutely. And we're lucky to see it.
And then Gennady wants to go to the firing range with Devin and see if they can get a better score at the firing range. And Engen's like, no, don't, because he's afraid it might go something else.
Yeah, maybe do it afterwards, after the event.
After. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, I remember a video not too long ago. Devin went shooting with Tim Breslin. He was out in the East Coast.
Yeah, that was great.
And he's got a shot on him, man. I mean, it shows.
Yeah, they were plinking
that iron. Yeah, they were plinking that iron good, and Devin was hitting it.
Yeah, Tim's. I think he's a big fan of. Well, when I spoke to him in Ireland, and I think Paul was asking him about guns and laws and stuff like that.
Big gun guy.
Oh yeah, and Tim's like, I feel naked walking around here without my gun.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He's like, I carry my gun everywhere when I'm at home.
Right.
Yeah,
almost
man.
sleeping with it.
It's like having your wallet on you all the time, you know.
It's for us, like it's a complete change in culture to hear that, you know.
I
It's
know,
very
yeah. You guys are. It's pretty hard to obtain something out there, huh?
yeah. There's a lot of laws surrounding it. You can own guns, but if you do, you give up a lot of your rights.
So after we make Canada the 51st state, 52nd state should be the upside down country there, perhaps.
That would be good.
Well, we love America, and we do what we can to feed that Western
what I'm thinking.
partnership. Yes, we got along quite nicely. As well. What the other match that we should talk about, because it's going to be have some good repercussions, good consequences, good follow-up for whoever wins this gets their match against Levan. We've got Michael Todd versus Hermes Gasparini. Thoughts on that one? Let's start with Drew. Oh, I caught you typing. What do you think about this one?
This is kind of similar in a lot of ways to where we have Monster Michael Todd, and he's unequivocally the best he's ever been mentally and physically. His mentally seems to be really in it. But the thing is, yes, Hermes, this might be the best Hermes ever too. I don't really know. That's the thing. Hermes kind of goes up and down in his kind of levels. He's always strong, but where is he at this? That's the only question to me. We know Michael Todd is really up there, but Hermes is very smart. He studies really well. Does the mental game, is it better this time? Because Devin, obviously, with him, he kind of crumbled a bit, wouldn't you say? He didn't really get beat physically so much as it was more of like a mental, and then he kind of shut down after that. I don't know. Because you see they did after polls, but still, he's just better than Hermes at that time. Now, what Hermes do we have now? Is he better mentally now? Because you see sometimes the thought of losing versus someone who you shouldn't lose against will help you lose. That might be a factor here. It might be sinking in, and if he doesn't get something he wants and he gets pinned, he might just crumble right there. That might be a factor.
Absolutely, no, that's a good point. Yeah, this is the interesting thing for me, and I'm slightly I like Michael a lot, and I'm hoping that he wins. I actually have tipped Hermes to win this match, but I'm very interested to see if Michael can get the win. I just would love to see what Levan does with the King's move. Like, it's just, I want that question answered. Like, just what does he do? Like, does he just smash through it? Is it not even a factor for him, or is it an actual issue that he has to overcome? Like, that question I want answered.
Yeah, the ultimate King's mover right there.
Exactly.
And I kind of do agree with Devin. I kind of wish he would go ahead and let the Vitaly match happen first. Let him have that, so that way he could have a nice long ramp up to actually face Levan if he actually beats Hermes, of course. That, I think, would be the best strategy. Doing it right away, and he's doing it more because he feels like strike while the iron's hot. So I understand that, and plus, he is not a spring chicken, and I think that's a factor in his mind. He knows he only has so much time.
Yes. Yeah, we're looking here at this is 5 years ago, so you can't take a lot out of this. But this was a match between the two of them. Look at the size difference between then and now. Both men, both probably a third bigger, and especially Hermes. He's probably put on.
Hermes is really good.
Twice as big. I mean, he's Hermes definitely has manned since then.
Yeah, but this is probably a good indication as to how I'm picturing this match to go, with Michael sitting in the King's move, Hermes trying to find the way through, climb.
He has to,
trying to press. He's doing all the right things, but Michael's just the master of this move, and this is sort of why I want that question of Levan answered, because ideally you'd want to see Levan get tested, and I was hoping that Jerry was going to be one of those other questions, as to, well, let's see what Levan can do against that crazy flop press. And I mean, he answered that question convincingly and just, blew Jerry out of the water. And it was like, well, all right, that kind of, I guess that shuts me up about that match. But
no, yeah, I mean, Michael Todd, listen, I do agree with what Drew said. I think he's going to come in his best form ever. I think he's going to be very, very strong. But is it enough to take down arguably one of the guys that is contending for top 3 in the world? I mean, that's the big question. I think like I could easily see Hermes being 20 to 30% stronger than this form right here. Do we think Michael is 20 to 30% stronger than this form right here?
I think so.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. And then plus he's working on his weaknesses as well. He's recognized. He says it will be the hand if he can control the hand at all, the top, because he knows that will keep his kings move up. He says that will be the main key indicator that he'll have early success. That's what we're looking
Yeah,
for.
no, and that makes sense because I've been seeing it even in the way that he has been arm wrestling. He's definitely changed the way that he kings moves and arm wrestles.
And he has to too as well, because right there, that's an illegal move right there. What he's doing, he's dropped his shoulder below his angle.
Shoulder below the he has.
The humerus angle is below.
Yeah. This was before they adopted most of those rules.
That's right. Yeah.
Let it break. Let it break.
Yeah, let it break. Yeah.
Hashtag let it break.
I mean, I've pulled against the guy. You know, I mean, in our practice, nothing. Obviously, not like a serious match, but just the way that you feel the pressure, it's very, very misleading. I mean, he almost makes you feel like you have it all, and then you don't.
Yeah, I got to feel Bob Brown's King's move. We got in the strap. I'm like, okay, let me feel this monster, you know, and yeah, it was terrible. I just remember it was terrible. I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's quite a thing to have to pull against someone who pulls in that style. I gotta say.
Yeah, this is why I'm very happy that they made the adjustments to the move, but they didn't ban it like outright, and I think that was a very, very good decision because it's a technique that is available for anybody to use, and if it's done effectively, it is very effective. And by banning it, you rob the pullers of learning how to counter it effectively. Because sure, maybe it's being dominant, and we saw Michael being dominant with it for maybe a year, 2 years at that really high level, until people started to figure out how to work against it. How do I counter this? Because he's doing something different. No one else is really doing this move. We need to figure out how to beat it. And it's that knowledge that was gained over those years, and now the King's move is more prevalent. I'm seeing a lot more people that are doing it, but the counters and the people who know how to work against it has also increased as well. So I'm always a fan of, like, if it's within the rule set, let it happen. Sure, you've made the adjustments of you can't sit on the floor basically and have your arm straight up in the air. They've made some good adjustments with the humerus angle and the shoulder.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty move.
You know, Matt, it's a really good thing they did that, because if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, I mean, the amount of people that can King's move to that degree that I could think of off the top of my head are like Michael Todd, Crazy George, and like Pascal Gerard are like the three that come to mind straight away. Most other people that are doing the King's move don't lock out that way.
Yeah.
You know, most of them do
not their natural. It's not their natural thing. And the more adjustment that seems to work for a lot more people would be the King's hook.
Yeah.
Yes.
That Sam Burnett likes to do. He likes to jump into that, King's hook kind of thing, and you're over
completely wrist initiated, like kind of King's move out there.
Yeah. It's a little adjustment on that, and I like that one instead. I like that one instead.
Yeah, it is interesting seeing people adopting the move after it was sort of Michael became known as this new thing that he's doing, and he's really dominant with it. And he won against Devin, and he had that moment where he said, "I am your limit," in the WAL matches and all of those times. And everyone, there was a lot of debate about the King's move, whether it should be banned or is it legal and is it cheating or whatever. But now you're seeing Ryan Bowen jumping in with the King's move if he has to. You're seeing guys that it's like they've added that move to their repertoire, and usually it's like a backup. Like if I'm on my way to the pin pad and I cannot get a cup, I've got nothing left. I'm either going to get pinned, but hang on a second.
It's like a all else fails last defense.
Yes.
And that's actually what Hermes and now Levon has to resort to, is the desperation flop. Along with Dave Chafee, that is the desperation flop. And now the GOAT John Brzenk, he didn't want to go into flop, and yet he pinned 3 times in a row with a flop, which is amazing on his match there. So.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's an old video floating around of John and Michael Todd arm wrestling, where John is holding him center and he asks him like, "Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going?" And then I think that video perfectly kind of shows the technique needed to beat the King's move, and it went over a lot of people's head for years. It wasn't until recently that, because I've heard a few arm wrestlers talk about that video, saying that they've gone back, watched it, studied it, and kind of learned from it. And I mean, John was doing it before it was even like on paper, like what to do. There you go. I mean, boom. I mean that's textbook perfect on how to beat the King's move.
Yeah. Plus, you don't go into it. You don't splash up against the wall because they
Yeah.
have to come up, and if they come up, well, then you can also take it. John also admitted that it was also a bit of a stack set up against Michael Todd on that too, because I'm not sure if you know about that. It's kind of messed up in a way.
It is. It definitely is. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this is John's start. He keeps center. He keeps his hand and keeps center from the very go, and that's what a lot of people weren't doing before against the King's move.
And you have to scoop in that pronation. If you lose the pronation and you're more palm up, then you become less effective.
Absolutely.
There it is, the press finish.
Yeah. I mean, he got so high up on his hand that he was able to dive down on it, and it was just too much.
I do love that press that Michael has, and it's such a threat as well on the start, because you don't know whether he's actually going to be jumping into it or if he's going to jump back into his top roll.
And it's a shotgun.
Shotgun.
He does that.
Look at Michael Todd's bicep. I mean, he's so turned in that it's white. I mean, there's like no blood in the bicep. And I mean, this is a big thing. A lot of people don't remember Michael Todd arm wrestling like this. He used to arm wrestle like this a lot. I mean, I would see this guy. I mean, he broke his arm, his left arm against who was it? Bortolato, years ago.
Wagner.
Right? His left arm, going super. It wasn't his arm. I think it was like his elbow flexor. Or something.
It was inside. Yeah, when the arm is inside here.
Yeah,
and it busted open, and it was
exactly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a bone break, but I mean, he got some pretty bad damage, and I mean, it just goes to show how committed he used to go. If you watch that match left-handed against Neil Pickup, I don't know if you guys have seen that match between Michael Todd and Neil Pickup at the beach. Oh my goodness! I mean, that just shows how much heart the man has at like winning.
Yeah, that's what set up to the break against Wagner.
Yeah, exactly. That match is what set it. Like that was the precursor to that match.
That was the beginning of the end.
That
was the beginning of the end. Yeah. And then Neil didn't want it to end right then. He didn't want to hurt him fully because he really liked him and everything. So he's trying to make it competitive, and then ended up actually seemed like gassed him out too much, himself out, Neil, too much to try to, at the end, he's like, okay, he's not going to quit. He's not going to quit, and he doesn't care about his own arm.
No, the dude is he's a warrior. There's no doubt about that.
And he told Neil before this match that if it breaks, it's going to break. He's willing to.
We're about to see that happen right now.
Oh, man.
There it is.
It popped in a leg go right there.
Yeah, you really saw that movement. Oof.
And talk about transformations. You wouldn't even know that's Wagner there. Jack Jesus.
I know, yeah. I know, man. Wagner.
Like him and Hermes. I want to see the beforehand, both of them next to each other, before and after.
Yeah, wow, he does look so much younger as well. And I mean, half the size. Even that Barboza there.
Yeah, that's right.
Barboza looks a little smaller too.
Smaller.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch all these videos, like I was watching all these videos when I started in the sport, and it was just like amazing. I mean, these guys were like heroes to me, to freaking be able to arm wrestle like that is ridiculous. I always just love it.
Yeah, man. Did you have a favorite when you started watching?
I really liked Jeff Hale, the Hellraiser.
Oh yeah.
I really liked his personality. I really liked the way that he would do like the whole, like bringing you into the match. Like the dude just had such a way of just getting you involved and making you feel like, damn, like this dude is just such a good arm wrestler. You just want to know how the match goes. One guy that I really, really liked was Bob Brown. And I think, I don't remember who the match was against. It wasn't Arm Wars. It was an old card that I saw him compete in. And he was already like, older. And just seeing that guy be able to hang with this young dude who I'm forgetting the name. It's a well-known guy from over in like the UK, but he beat him. And just seeing this like older fella just put the whooping on the younger dude was like amazing,
Absolutely.
Like, it showed the longevity of the sport.
Yeah, that's one of the weirdest things about it. It's a strength sport, a combat sport.
Yeah.
Which you think, okay, your 18 to 30-year-olds are your peak performers, but it's like,
Yes.
no.
No, they're not.
It's
They
like
cannot be.
way down the other end.
Yeah.
It's 40 plus.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I mean, there's very few sports where 40 plus are top of the peak. You know, top of the. I mean, it's as best as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, like John Brasink, I mean, he's almost 60, I think, and still in the top guys in the world in his weight class.
Oh yeah, I mean, that guy could show up to most tournaments in the U.S. and just clean house.
You know, that was how he would get his money. When he'd enter every weight class he could on right and left and just win everything.
Everything. I mean, it's
Incredible.
ridiculous. You know, these guys are just. Some of them really, really are just like freaks of nature. They have some crazy, crazy power.
Yeah. Have you ever jumped on with somebody that just immediately, like maybe they hadn't done it before, and you're like, oh my God, why is this guy stronger than me already? And he's never done this before.
I definitely have. I will say it hasn't happened in a while. But I do see like what you're saying. Like there are some people that you just get on the table with them and they just have this static strength that is just ridiculous. Like nobody should have that type of strength without training for it, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, it's frustrating because they don't even realize.
They don't. They're just like dumb to their own strength, basically. Like they aren't in tune with it yet, you know? They just go really hard and it's just like a lot of so yeah, I know what you mean. Like especially, you know, Matt, you've been arm wrestling for a while now. Like most people who are not arm wrestlers, even if they're a big, strong guy, you know, you can get up there and more than likely just hold them and make them feel like they're not that strong, which is pretty crazy, you know. But there's always that one odd guy that you get up on the table, you grab up with him, and he's just freaking nature.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we did get the picks for Michael Todd versus Hermes. What Israel? What do you think? What's the score going to be? I think it's best of 3.
Yeah. Oh, it's best of 3. I think it's going to come down.
No, first.
I really
think
it. Yeah. Oh, first of 3. Okay, I think it's going to come down to that. Like it can come. It can be 2-2, and it's going to come down to who wins that last match. I mean, I really think so. Like I do give Hermes a bit of favoritism. I think it's probably 60-40. 65-35. I mean, it's definitely in Hermes' court to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I really, really want to see the upset. Like, I do want Michael Todd to win. You know, like
me too.
I just want to see it happen because it would be like everybody would expect Hermes to win. Like Hermes won. Oh, fuck. Okay, like we more than likely thought that would happen. For Michael Todd to win and get a title shot at Levon would be insane. Do
you reckon they would do it in the US?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Would they do that in the US, do you think?
Oh, man.
Ooh.
That would be, I mean, I don't know. I will tell you this. Engen did say something about the last East versus West here in the US was their biggest East versus West.
Oh.
So, hey, man. I mean.
And it wasn't even ideal conditions either.
Exactly.
Yeah, Drew wasn't there either.
And Drew wasn't there. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, we can't have that.
It was still only like 3,000 miles away, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, you could be in the U.S. and be so far away from something, man. Like,
yeah, well, with Matt, it's like same in Australia, right?
Yeah, I could drive 13 hours in one direction and I'll still be in my own state.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, that's how we are here in California. I mean, we could from tip to tip California. I mean, you're literally talking like a 20-hour drive.
Yeah,
like just about. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's a massive state.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Papa, I'm gonna go poo.
Okay. Well, that's quite an announcement.
I'm so glad he came to tell everybody that.
Oh yeah, he had to let me know.
That's great. Drew, what was your pick, mate? Hermes or Michael?
Yeah. I would say number 1, Hermes should be the favorite. He should be the favorite. I do think actually that Michael will win, and it will be close. It will be close because Michael, seems like he just has to have those long wars, and especially with these kind of matches. I mean, yeah. Hermes, I would say, is kind of comparable in a lot of ways to Frank Lamparelli, except for Frank didn't have some of the things that Hermes can do, but there are some similarities with the hand, the dominance of all that, and maybe Hermes simply is just a better version of him.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of a Levan Hermes rematch?
That is fire, man. I mean, Levan Hermes, I really do think Hermes like is one of the guys that could potentially do it. You know, I mean, there's very few guys that I could see doing it right now, like in the space, and I definitely think he's one of them. I mean, he got to stop. He got to stop last time, and that's a lot. I mean, to be able to get a stop on a full surge from Levan, how many guys can say they've done that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right. He might be the only one.
Oh,
Oh, it was a follow-up.
almost sounds like Opana.
Yeah, it does sound like that. That's great. So we've got Morozov and Laletin as well. That's going to be taking place. And
That is
this is a
another
left arm.
Now, all
It's a
these
shutout,
matches
right?
could be headliners, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a shutout, right?
Who you got for the shutout?
It's a shut. What Lalatin versus Morozov is a shutout stake?
Is it?
Is it?
I'm not
Isn't
sure.
it the shutout?
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying, Drew.
No, on
yeah,
the arm bet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a shutout, but I will tell you that Lalatin is big, and
He's a big man.
Morozov is very big too right now. Like he's looking probably bigger than I've ever seen him. The dude, he was saying in the video with Engen that he's got like basically 57 centimeter arms as biceps. 57 centimeters. I mean, that's what, like 23 inches, 24. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And wasn't Vitaly like 59 or something?
49. 49.
Oh, 49. Oh,
Yeah,
the other way. Oh, okay.
But Vitaly, I mean,
that's
he's a bigger guy, longer levers. You know, he doesn't have those ridiculous peaks that Morozov has. You know, I mean,
And Siberian Bigfoot.
exactly. And I mean,
Just-
arm wrestling is not a bicep show, as we've seen with many matches, and it's proven time and time again. If arm wrestling was a bicep show, we'd have Matt going against Levan right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt would be on top of the world.
Yep, someone gave the conversion right there. So just shy of 23-inch arms, 57 centimeters.
That's absolutely enormous.
Matt. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. I mean,
And what's Brett Coots at?
Oh, he's. Well, I spoke with Brett. We had him on our show, like 3 weeks ago, and he normally sits around 100 kilos, 220 pounds. And when we were chatting to him, he said, "I'm going to be going up to 120 kilos, which is 250 pounds, which is the biggest he's ever been." And it was
now when the last time he faced Record Bourneman, he still wasn't that 120, right?
No, he was sitting around the 100 kilos.
100 kilo. Wow.
So 220 pounds.
Yeah, no, Brett is another one of those dudes that just crazy physique, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
it's like a pro bodybuilder. It's like Mr. Olympia is walking out to the stage.
Literally, yeah.
and then you have the opposite side with Mendagas terrasitis, where I still would love to see him if he can come visit here or other places and do the beat this arm wrestler for $100 and have be Mendagas. Because if I didn't know who he was, I'd be like, I think I can take him. I have zero chance.
You put him in a flannel, some glasses, and a little sweater, and
not even that. You don't even have to just a long sleeve shirt. But I mean, his arms aren't that impressive. He's fit.
Yeah, he is. He's just like yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, there's only one other one that I wanted to chat about quickly, which is let me bring it up here on the screen. It is Todd Hutchings from the USA versus Irakli.
See you later, Wolf. Bye, Wolf.
What do we think?
Aroo.
Oh, White Wolf is heading off. Thank you for your
White Wolf.
Amazing work today, White Wolf. Yeah. What do we think? Todd Hutchings, Irakli.
I think it's going to be repeat.
I think it's gonna be repeat. You know, I'm gonna tell you, man. Toddzilla is a guy that just learns from his mistakes. He just does. I mean, the dude takes a loss and he doesn't fret about it. He doesn't cry about it. He didn't say anything about it. But that dude fixes what was wrong in the last match.
I think
he won the last match.
Yeah, I think his middle name should be Mercenary.
Yeah.
Because he's a paid assassin. Okay, you're gonna show up, do this. He does his job. All right, thanks. Bye.
Yep.
When he wins or lose, like okay, all right.
Dude, I mean, Toddzilla is impressive. Like, he is something special for sure. I mean, the dude is just crazy. I've had the pleasure of pulling him, and
really?
yeah,
Nice.
the pressures that the guy can provide going sideways is just, I mean, unorthodox to say the least. Unorthodox.
A bit like a relentless Frodo Hoagland.
I mean, I've never gotten the chance to pull him, but he is definitely a side pressure puller. So I'm gonna say that he is like the next level of Frodo Hoagland. I mean, it's just, it really is insane, you know, like to feel that type of pressure off the go, man. Like off the go, it's crazy.
It just goes. It just goes.
Just goes.
Doesn't let up.
Goes. Yep. And it's like he'll hand will be here, and it's just like, oh, it doesn't go any further than that. Just clamps down and straight down. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, then he has the Todd roll because he keeps his pronation. He can lose the wrist a bit, and that's fine. Because also, you see, that's how he pulls sometimes. He gets that locked because his whole goal is, if I can get it over, I don't care if I'm bent back or not, as long as it goes over.
His whole thing is, don't get your hand like this.
Yep.
So you can take his hand, but as long as he's flat, like as long as his hand is flat and not turned over,
keeps that plane.
He's got it. Yeah, I mean, he's in the game, and that's what he always says, and he preaches that, and I think it's true. I mean,
yeah. See, the wrist is always pointing towards his shoulder. It doesn't matter where, as long as this wrist is in line with the shoulder. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter about this.
Gives him full access to that side pressure.
Yeah.
And,
you know, Irakli, I'm sure he has improved, but I can't imagine it being so dramatic that it's going to make as much of a difference. And you see, Toddzilla has improved as well. He has, and he also made adjustments to his little weaknesses. I've not heard anything about Irakli fixing something that he might be weak on or making an adjustment or anything like that. He actually gets into his desperation flop as well, as we saw against the GOAT.
Yep,
he went to desperation flop, and which was amazing. So he does have a chance. So who knows?
And you know what else makes me feel like it's going to be the same outcome, Drew?
Yeah.
He did say in an interview recently that, like, he's basically just going to do the same thing, only harder.
Ooh.
Like, he basically said that he's just stronger and that this time it will work. I mean, that's basically what he said. So that made me feel like, yeah, that's not the strategy you should have gone with against Godzilla.
You know? Are you Sasha? Oh, you're not. Well, okay, then you got to do something else. Sorry.
Exactly. So that is the only thing that made me feel like, okay, like if he didn't develop something else, if he didn't work on like a different strategy and like something that he needs, like if he's just gonna go in there and do the same thing, I mean, I really don't see how Toddzilla loses, man. I gotta say.
Yeah, Irakli's not exactly a hook master, right?
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, not compared to Toddzilla, that's for sure.
No.
So what are we thinking, of whitewash here, or are we thinking that Irakli might be able to pull out one of the pins?
Maybe the first round.
I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1. I mean, I think Irakli can definitely pull something out.
I think Toddzilla might be a little surprised because maybe Irakli will be a little bit different setup, and he thinks he'll be the exact same thing as before, and then Todd's like, oh, okay, and he won't fight for too much because he'll realize, oh, this is losing. I'll just give that away. Screw it. He'll make the adjustment, and then that's it, just done. If that's how I wouldn't be surprised. It went that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is what's so fun about arm wrestling is the different styles that people bring, and so unique to the individual. You know, with Toddzilla coming with his amazing, crazy side pressure, and it's like, well, he's the guy that's what he does. It's like his special move is that he's the best at it. He's unbelievable. He's gonna go, I'm going that way, and you're coming with me no matter what. I don't care. You take my hand, whatever. I'm still going over there. Yeah. So, and it's incredible because then people have to figure out, wow, I mean, this guy's doing something different to everybody else. How do we beat that? How do we counter that? Until you've engaged against it, you don't know how crazy strong it feels. You know, again, like we were saying before, you got people like Michael Todd coming in with like a very specialized King's move. You got like Jerry Carteret with the flop press. You got people who have these very unique things, which is almost like a genetic trait to them, and it makes the sport so much fun.
Yeah, no, it really does, man. And you know, there's one more match I wanted to ask you about, Matt.
Yeah.
One that is really interesting to me. Bacho versus Brad Grundy.
Oh yes, let me bring that one up here. It's great to see Brad getting an opportunity on the card. I know that he was putting up his own money for a little while. He had a $5,000 challenge me bet, and nobody took it up.
Nobody took it up, man. Nobody took it up because nobody wants to lose to Brad.
Yeah, he's up and coming. He's not like, already established rank, all this kind of stuff, and doesn't have all this established, ranking. That's really what it is, I think.
Yeah,
I think that was the thing that he was trying to do with that $5,000 challenge. Is like, I want to get my name out there. I want to take on these top guys. Give me the opportunity. And if you're not going to give me the opportunity, well, I'll put my own money up and see if I can get it happening that way.
And you know what, Matt? He's just been consistent in results, man. Like, he really has. I mean, he beat Matt Mask. He beat Pavlo Derbedeniev. I mean, those are two East versus West athletes right there.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then Brad has been getting better too. He has been getting back into it, so he has improved. And as he said, he's been improving, getting back up. He's been coming back a lot because he took that little break.
Brad's my age. I mean, I think he's like 26, 27. He's got room. He's got a lot of room to keep growing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's young. He's got some, like, I hear. I've never pulled him, but I hear through the grapevine and through people that have that he's got some pretty, like, crazy natural ability with his posting. I hear that he's unruly strong with that post. So.
And he also very intellectual about it. You can see him. He's analyzing. He's trying to figure it out. So I look at arm wrestling as combat chess. That's how I see it.
Oh yeah,
I really do. And the closest sport would be jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, I think, is probably the closest to it.
Yeah, like that's like an arm jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there, man. I mean, the dude is so smart, and his setup is. Brad is one of the guys that I can say that, like. And you can see it every single time he starts. He works so hard on getting his setup to just be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. I mean, that's a big part of the game, and that's a big part of his game. Like, he just, like right there, you saw that. He felt one thing that was wrong, and he just gave it up.
Yeah, it does take a lot of courage to do that because you know that the audience is going to start turning against you.
Yeah. But hey, man, like. He's so precise that when he does it, it usually comes in his favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the same with Devin. I mean, whenever you see a Devin match, it's like 49 minutes long, and you're like, all right.
Brad is not a small guy. I was like, he's getting down to what, 105?
Yeah, no, he's
95.
Not a small guy. No, I think for his match with
right?
No, he's gonna be bigger. I think he said that he's gonna come down. He's gonna come down to like 230 for the weigh-in. And then he's going to shoot up. He said he'll be 260 day of the match.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he said 260. I mean, listen, the guy has all these like water cut and everything down to a math. I mean, he comes from a family of doctors, and he's a smart guy. He's very well aware of his body and what it can do, and it just works for him, man. It really does. I got to say, like, a lot of people have told him a lot of times that his water cuts are too extreme. He comes in and wins. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, that is a big factor. I mean, it can affect your performance so greatly if you get your
absolutely. So the fact that he can, be precise with it like that is pretty impressive.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I've got a good question here from Home Gym Physique. He says, if Todd beats Irakli, what does that say about the sport?
That the old guard is still fucking good for a reason, man. I mean, what else are you gonna say?
And people win and people lose. Yeah. I mean, it didn't, because I mean the thing is, and it's also styles as well, because you see Todd has issues with some people and not others as well.
Yes, styles win matches, and that's the thing. Just because A beats B doesn't mean that B beats C. It's
exactly.
It can all flow around in that. It's like you never really know. It's like, okay, he beat him, yeah, sure, but doesn't mean that he's going to beat this guy as well.
And I was kind of like, the possibilities of if someone beats, Levon, who is not Devin, then there's actually a better chance that Devin can beat the other person, because he may never be able to beat. Yeah, he may never be able to beat Levon, but he can beat the person who could beat Levon.
That's true. That's a good point.
Like another guy who could potentially face Levon this year would be Vitaly.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's one guy. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Vitaly could give Devin a very hard time. I do, because Devin's usually like the longer levered guy using his riser.
Yeah, the high posting.
Exactly. And I mean, Vitaly's just got more of what Devin has. You know, like more height, more length, like more strength in certain areas. Like Vitaly is a real threat, and I do still think though that Devin could potentially have a good shot against Vitaly. I mean, he could. You know, you never know. He thinks he can.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I'm just watching the Brad Grundy here get the pin over Matt Mask. I think the first round it ended in fouls.
Yeah. No, and you know, all of that time wasting, Matt, it definitely like wears down a little bit on Matt. It definitely wears him down a bit.
You got to burn down that hand. If you can burn down that hand of Matt, then you've got a pretty much easy game.
Yeah, because that's what he is. I mean, the guy is all hand. Like, not saying he's not strong anywhere else, but you know, I mean, the guy's hand is massive, and he's a top roller.
Absolutely. Well, we might look at wrapping things up here, and yeah, it's been good. It's been a great show. We've covered a lot of topics. We had Jody Williams on earlier. We were talking about the controversy between a couple of the promotions out there at this point in time. We're hoping that maybe some decisions that were made get changed for the good of the sport. And we've been on with Israel Chavez. Great to have you back on the show. It's been a while. You've moved. You've changed a lot of things going on. You've had surgery. You're getting back into the sport again and recovering. So we're looking forward to seeing how that progresses over the next few months. Was it 5 months in from surgery at this point?
Yep, 5 months in, man. And I thank you for having me, man. And I hope we can keep doing these shows. This was really fun. I'm happy to get back into it, and I definitely needed this, man.
Awesome. It's so good to see you again, mate. And of course, the Drew, ever faithful Drew. So good to have you on the show, mate. And, we appreciate everything that you do. We saw lots of comments coming in, people saying that they appreciated Drew and what he does. And if you find any arm wrestling video on YouTube that doesn't have a Drew comment on it, you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, man. And I'm glad you got that membership wave today, man. It was like everyone wanted to be a Hollywooder today. All of a sudden.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Awesome, dude.
I didn't even know it was a feature. So
You deserve it, man. You deserve it. You're a good dude, and you've been keeping up the show. You've been standing alone, and we're here, man. We're here back to help you pick up the slack. That's for sure.
It's so good. I love the arm wrestling community. Love the people in the chat. Israel, Drew, so good to see you on here. Any final thoughts before we head off?
I think we covered it all, man. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to join the membership, it's only $1. You better hurry up before he jacks that price up.
It's going through the roof.
Going through the roof.
$500. No, I don't even know what it is. All right.